Today, Precarious plays Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
Hear me out. We, or someone, develops a storyline that can continue and is intentionally designed to play out through a variety of different open world, video, and tabletop and board games.
What, for Dwarf Fortress?
No, not just for Dwarf Fortress, but let me give you an example. You decide on some things that you would like to happen in a canon of story. Mm-hmm. Right? And then you start in something like Dwarf Fortress, where it's like a big macro level thing that creates the backstory. I know that because it's so granular, like, the dwarves have names and, like, rashes occasionally, like, you know, personality traits. And, like, you can end up with very heroic dwarves, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's say you got to the end of a map or what you decided, like, for example, they decide to go to space. Mm-hmm. You would then pull all of the remaining most interesting characters from that experience and then say, I know, I'm going to go play
RimWorld,
sure. I was gonna say, it's not Terraria, is it?
What does the game look like, and how does it behave?
It is a side-scrolling game with, like, mining, but you're also in space and you can pop around between different worlds. Starbound, yes.
Enormous disappointment.
Well, this is an example that I have more context on than RimWorld.
Yeah.
So then you go to something that is like RimWorld, and then you...
RimWorld is probably too close. Like, why wouldn't you just play more Dwarf Fortress if you were going to play RimWorld? Like,
but
honestly, that's one of the...
Because of space, just to make it possible to go to space.
You can just pretend. You can just... So, here's one of the things about Dwarf Fortress. There are, like, environments, there are biomes that I have never gone to because I'm too much of a weenie. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the most famous, it's like the necrotic biome, where anytime anything dies, the environment will eventually reanimate it.
Ugh.
Even if it's just a... So you know how, like, the combat system seemingly is really overly detailed? It's like, what? This is weirdly gross. Why does it track individual limbs getting severed?
Yeah.
That's weird. But then it's like, can I get up here? Okay. I was wondering if I could get up there. Get in here. For some reason. Don't know why I would want to go there.
I was gonna ask if you just suddenly wanted to fry your little toes, but...
So... What was I saying about Dwarf Fortress?
Well, you were saying you hadn't been to different zones, and you were talking about the necro...
Yeah, so... Individual body parts can be reanimated individually. So you can wind up with you can wind up with, after an especially bloody battle, you can wind up with a horde of disembodied body parts that come back to fight you.
Oh my god, I've read some sci-fi that had enough colorful description on a similar subject that just made me feel really ill.
Well, I mean, Dead Space does the same thing, where, like, there's that one creature that you fight it and it...
I maintain that books are more effective at horror than any other medium because your brain figures out what's going to worry you the most. What is the most unsettling?
I maintain that Dwarf Fortress is superior to books because it's that, but on an infinity scale.
All right, I can get behind that.
Oh wait, I forgot. I don't.
But when you bring up Dead Space, that I wasn't thinking about Dead Space because it is nowhere near as gross as some of the horrifying things that my brain can populate for me.
Because Dead Space, see, the thing about Dead Space and your silly books is that they are very specific. They are very particular inventions where it's like, we're going to spend the next several weeks making and modeling this lanky creature that whenever you fight it, it falls to bits, and then the bits attack you.
And like, even in the book, it's death slugs. Well, there are only so many permutations of death slugs available. We're gonna have death slugs. For this area of the book, it's gonna be a discovery, and they're gonna have to deal with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in Dwarf Fortress, it's like, could be death slugs, could be death feet.
Yeah, so I think that like that's the big difference is that it is. Oh, not solid. Okay. I was like, wait, that's a window. Oh, okay, it's fine.
It has
fine.
an aquarium look to it.
Yeah. This is just it's just the way that the world works some of the time. You can take anything and you can just, if you drop it into this biome, parts of dwarves can be reanimated just by existing in this biome, So it creates a situation where you can like create your own worst nightmare where it's like, I'm going to fight a dragon. Oh, why did I decide to fight the dragon? But it has some interesting mechanical implications because you're not completely defenseless, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm aiming for. You're not just completely at the whims of this biome, because if a part is, I think it's called mangled. Mm-hmm. If a part is mangled, then it doesn't come back. It can't come back. And I think the best way to mangle a part is to use blunt weapons. So that's one of the reasons why Dwarf Fortress, I think, is really so evocative and so compelling and so influential. Other games sacrifice a lot aiming for the word I'm looking for is verisimilitude. Right? It's trying to be authentic. It's trying to be lifelike, right? I would suggest that a lot of other games, they sacrifice too much trying to achieve something realistic. They've just got something in their head where it's like, oh, well, it has to be this way. But then Dwarf Fortress, it's like, no, it does this interesting thing, but then it's also still just a good game.
I'm just thinking of like different, like what if one of your dwarves, anyways, I don't know. This comes from the fact that I know there are certain character names that you tend to use whenever you're customizing characters that you'll pull from game to game. Mm-hmm. And it's not so intentional. I mean, I think that you have some archetypes for certain character names that you pick that align. Like, there's one of your characters' names that you often use across different media.
Yeah.
Like, there are two that I'm thinking about right now, other than...
Don't say them, you'll dox me.
Oh, okay, I won't, but...
Maybe, somehow. Whatever.
I was wondering if I should ask if it was okay.
Oh, wait, hold on, this is a fun one.
Oh.
It's got a great animation. Is it going to show it here?
Oh?
Yes.
Oh. Oh. Sonic Boom. I'm sorry, I can't hear that. I can't read that without a particular audio clip playing in my head. But now I don't even know where the audio clip is from anymore.
Street Fighter.
Is it?
Right? There's Guile going Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And I guess I must have just been around enough Street Fighter. Okay. Well, there's, back to my conversation, there's a character whose name starts with G.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know which character I'm talking about? A character name. You have played them in D&D before?
Yes.
You played them during that one match with that one GM that made us all want to flip the table?
Yeah.
Do you remember that character?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a certain... Like, what can you tell me about that character that is pretty consistent across different places you've used them?
I don't know what you're angling for.
I like the fact that they are always have a certain mood. They always tend to be cold, metaphorically or physically. They tend to be like a sharp pointies person, but also or a caster. They tend to be kind of dramatic.
I don't know if I've been that consistent with that character, other than just the cryomancer thing. And honestly, they've been they had that role stolen by a different character.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it's just an example. It's something that I don't think that you stick to super hard, because there's another name that starts with A that I think is based in a
Armored Core?
Yeah, a Armored Core game that you play that you use a lot.
Yeah.
And that one doesn't feel like it has a particular mood to it, but maybe it does. Anyways, I like... how do I put this? You know how there's this whole canon of like Greek mythology that just gets constantly rearranged? Like, there is what were verifiably the Greek myths, but then all of those characters and themes have been...
Oh, hold on. I need your help. This is gonna be a pain.
What's happening?
Okay. This is what... I need you to write down a series of names.
Oh, okay.
Do it at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
So it'll be easier to erase after we're done. Here's what we're gonna do. Because I don't wanna... Like, I've still gotta check all of the names, even if we, like, look it up. Sky Temple Teas.
Okay. Can we do this between episodes?
We can and should.
Okay. We will not make you watch this.